Broadcasting live from the EBSN online studios in Columbus, Ohio. It's Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. Now, here are your hosts, Big Game James and Producer G.
What up? What up? What up?
We're back.
Man, it seems like it's been 3,000 years since we've been back. You know what I mean?
3,000 years.
3,000 years. It just seems that long. It's only been a couple weeks, but guess what? We are back, Silver Blue Nation. What's up, everybody? I'm Big Game James.
I'm Producer G.
Who was back from Hawaii. And before we get into anything else, you tell us about Hawaii right quick.
I mean, I've been saying it all day. Anybody who's asked me about it so far, it's what you would have expected. I mean, when you think about Hawaii, you think sunshine, palm trees, beaches, clear water. I mean, it was all of that.
Right.
And it was just very tropical. And, I mean, it was a great time. I never thought that would be something that I could do, but I was able to do that because my sister being in the Navy, so salute to her.
Salutes.
For doing that, making that sacrifice.
And her
I was
service.
also able to take part in the ship. Cruising back to San Diego,
Cruising
the
back
USS,
in my 6'4".
The USS Theodore Roosevelt. It's an aircraft carrier for the Navy, so I got to experience a little taste of her life.
Right.
And it was pretty humbling, pretty crazy experience. But I'm glad to be back and get back to work here talking about these Cowboys. I missed a lot.
Yeah, you missed a whole lot. You missed that draft. We'll talk a little bit about it. We'll do a little recap since we already know who the players, but we'll do a little recap since, you know, we weren't here when it happened. I did a show.
So.
Had a good little show. You was there when you checked it out, so it was good.
Let's give a few shout-outs before we get started over here on our I'll start over here on Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel.
All right.
Ty Jefferson's in there. He says, "What's up, Silver and Blue Nation? Big Game James."
What up? What up?
Working Class Cowboys in there. He says, "What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Appreciate you tuning in."
Yes, sir.
And then over here on Law Nation, let me give some. We got Daniel Ramirez,
What
who's
up?
in there first.
Yes.
Harold second.
What up? Harold? Daniel?
Jananda Rose third and DXer fourth. That's what they put in the comments, so I'm guessing that's what they wanted to make it known that they were in there first.
That's what's up.
Appreciate
we like
all
that.
you guys tuning in on Law Nation's YouTube channel.
Appreciate all y'all.
Say Prime Time, Cruising 26, Albert Perez, Gene Bryan. Appreciate all of you. Now, if we look over on Facebook a little bit, it's crazy how many people we already got to shout out.
We like it.
A couple minutes.
We love it.
So Maurice Trevino, Ron Smith in there, Katina, Terry Turner, Dino, all of our regular people. We appreciate all of you who's tuning in right now.
Juwan James, QTC Caldwell, keep them coming. We're going to give you the shout-outs. Annette, even Marshawn Waters is on there. He's the next guy on the come-up. Watch out for this guy. He's the next guy on the come-up. Catch out
on all the platforms that we're streaming on.
Yes,
we're on Law Nation, Dallas Prospect, Phantom Sports, all these different areas where we're streaming right now on Big Game James page as well. Make sure you jump on over here in the Silver and Blue Nation Facebook page.
Yes.
That's where you need to get your comments in, and we'll give you
Get them comments on them damn Silver and Blue.
Jump on over there and give us a like and a share before we get into some Cowboys talk.
Hell yeah. It's been a while, and I'm getting excited, man. Before we jump into anything, though, G, I want to say one thing. I'm excited about not Garrett, but I'm excited about the guys that they did bring in underneath. Ben Bloom, who's our new linebackers guy. Mark Colombo, who's been helping out with Paul Alexander on the offensive line. Of course, you know Chris Richard. He's coming in there shaking and moving and changing everything. Also, Sanjay Lau is already making a big impression on the receivers. So that has really got me excited more than anything, the players that we're bringing in. But more than that, you can have all the players you want, but if you don't have the coaches to coach them up and bring them to the level that bring them, you're just going to have a regular-ass team. And the guys I believe they brought in, especially Chris Richard, I'm not trying to say he's God because it seems like anytime he says something, it's like, God, Chris Richard has spoken. But the dude, Ron Marinelli said it first. He said, this is our best acquisition that we have brought in. No lie. The dude is the truth. And I really think he's going to change the whole culture of the organization. That was the best hire we had.
I mean, you got to be excited about him. He's young. He's fresh.
Yes.
Just to have a new face in there with an attitude coming from a team that has some Super Bowl success, so you feel really good about adding that.
And he built something over there.
And the potential of his future. I know a lot of people are excited, thinking he has a chance to maybe be a coach.
With us.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be excited about that as a Cowboys fan. Will Butler, what's up? Geronimo Mendez, Keith Caldwell over here on Facebook Live. Appreciate everybody tuning in right now.
Yeah. So, like I said, that got me excited. I just feel like, you know, the rookies just came in. It's just it's just
a lot of moving parts this offseason.
A lot of moving parts, but it's okay because it's okay. I honestly, I feel good. I feel good about the clean house. You know, I love Witten, but I'm glad he's gone. Not in a disrespectful manner, but I felt like it was time for him to go. And even with Dez being gone, it felt like I love the new faces. I love the fresh faces. I feel like we got a lot of swag on the team. We got a lot of young guys who want to make a name for themselves because guess what? Competition is open. There ain't really no set spots to set except you look at the offensive line, maybe a few spots on the defensive line. There's a lot of spots that are going to be open. A lot of competition. These coaches are going to open competition to these guys, especially I feel on the defensive side of the ball where it's going to be real fierce because that defensive line, we got a lot of D ends, and it's going to be fierce. So who's going to make that cut?
Yeah, now you got an injured Malik Collins on that defensive line too. But you mentioned not having – you mentioned the competition on the offensive line. You don't think the Connor Williams pick in the second round will solidify that?
I mean, that's solidifying. I don't feel like he's going to have no competition. I feel like he's already
penciled. So you're saying there's no competition?
Yeah, I feel like that offensive line is settled, penciled in. They drafted Connor Williams to come in and put in that last spot. I feel like they are settled with La'el Collins playing the right tackle position. They paid him right tackle money. They drafted Connor Williams with the idea of you played tackle, but you can slide right into guard. You're good at that position. We need somebody who can solidify that spot and get rolling what we do. We run that ball with Ezekiel Elliott. We're looking for Ezekiel Elliott to have another big year, and that was the last piece of the cog. And this is a guy who's soaked up. He's from Texas. I mean, he played for the University of Texas. He's soaking it in. He's already becoming a fan favorite. So it's just only right. But I just really feel like that defensive side of the ball, because you got a lot of new coaches on that defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be a lot of new teaching, a lot of new things. Chris Richard is playing a lot of press coverage. He played cover 3, but he plays a lot of press man, which we haven't played. And you see Marinelli kind of moving away from that and concentrating on that defensive line like he's so good at. Let those other guys work, Marinelli, and you work on that defensive line and let Chris Richard work that other spots and watch how this defense grows.
Let's go ahead and segue that then right into the draft. How satisfied were you with the draft?
I'm satisfied. I was very satisfied. I mean, you know what?
And real quick before you answer, let me pose that question to everyone who's watching as well. Give us a grade in the comments. Let us know what you thought. Was it an A, B, C, or if you didn't like it, was it an F? Give us a grade in the comments how you think the Cowboys draft went.
I liked the draft. You know, I gave it a solid B. You know, I was frustrated at the Vander Esch pick in the beginning because I thought we could get him in the second round and possibly maybe trade up and get Derwin James and still slide him in the second round. I think that's the only reason I was frustrated. You know, you saw some things about him that, you know, getting off blocks, which is a concern because if you're playing in that Mountain Valley and you're having some issues of getting off blocks, you come in the NFL, that's what you're going to be seeing. But with that being said, the kid is an athlete. Sean Lee said he's watched some tape of him. He loves how he moves like a 220-pound man. He's 260 pounds. He's 6 foot, almost a solid 6'5", 260 pounds, and he moves like a gazelle. If you can really get him to do what everybody's anticipating for him to do, if he can come in like he did at Boise State and get 140 tackles, I'm not going to say get his rookie year, but if, you know, 1 year starting 140 tackles, that's damn good. You slide in, you got Connor Williams, then you get Michael Gallup, a receiver who we didn't have to spend a lot of money on. That's good.
Well, when you talk about maybe being a reach for him at the first round, I just feel like if he's your guy and you know that's your guy, it's fine to pick him right there.
Yeah, I mean,
like Travis Frederick was.
Right.
You know, he might have been a reach, but you know that's
he ended up being,
guy.
Yeah. And everybody was dogging the Travis Frederick pick. Now, I will be honest. When we drafted Travis Frederick, I was not saying that was a reach because I knew he came from Wisconsin. I knew the pedigree, and I was like, that was a great pick for us.
At the time, I wasn't really realizing how important that those offensive linemen would be, but now that they're there, you know,
yeah, you're right.
Man, those picks were great.
Heck yeah.
So let me go ahead and give a couple of grades out here that people have given before we move on, because we'll just cover the whole draft real quick. We'll just go through the picks. Ron Smith gave it an A. Keith Caldwell gave it a B. Geronimo agrees with you, says a B. Terry Turner gave it an A. He said he didn't like the Vander Esch pick. Harold over here on Law Nation's YouTube gives it an A-. Gene Bryan, a B. South of Heaven, B. Dominique Austin, A-. So I think a lot of people are mostly satisfied here.
You're looking at a good B for, I think, across the board. If you look at even in the publications from ESPN, NFL.com, you got scouts that gave Dallas high marks on their drafts. I mean, we drafted Schultz, who's I think who's going to be a good tight end for us from Stanford. You got Covington, who's going to be a good special teams maybe.
Let's go to the second round real quick then, since you're
round.
just going to go through them.
Okay.
So that would have been Connor Williams.
Connor Williams, second
Texas
round.
Pick.
Great pick.
Now for that, at
Starter.
that spot in the draft, that was the moment where the Eagles jumped up, right?
Right.
And they
got
drafted
Govert.
the tight end that
Dallas Govert
was probably the best one in the draft from what I have been hearing at the time.
But that's okay to get a Connor Williams in the trade-off. That's okay. Because you got a guy who was highly rated and already was a first or second round grade anyway. So you didn't fall off with that. He was already he was the man in his 2016. He just had a little drop off with injuries. So that was when you got him, that was like a godsend. He fell into your lap. You go in the third round, and then you grabbed Michael Gallup, who, number one, we didn't have to spend a first-round pick, and we still got a good quality receiver who's was one of the top-graded receivers in all of college football. I mean, he had over 1,400 yards his senior year, had over 10 touchdowns.
We saw him at the combine.
Big, strong hands, physical kid. Doesn't have that great top-end speed, but he's one of those guys. I told you, I keep on comparing him to a poor man's Anquan Bolden because he's a guy that's just going to – you're not going to hear about him all game, but he's going to kill you. Look in the stats, 8 catches, 110 yards, touchdown, and just solid. You know what I mean? Getting first downs. That's what we need. A guy who can move the chains. That's what we need, right? Somebody can move those chains. You come in the fourth round, you got Dalton Schultz from Stanford, who wasn't a guy who they threw the ball a lot to, but Stanford has a good pedigree, especially with the guys they put in the NFL. Tight ends are good too. You look at what he brought to the table as well as blocking. We needed Jason Witten, who retired. One of the big things we loved about him was his blocking. This kid can block, and that's huge. Dorrance Armstrong from Kansas. Defensive end, I didn't really hear about him all like that. I went and looked at his tape. Didn't have a great in his last year, but his sophomore year, he had like 10 sacks, and he's back there. He played at like 240. He came in in camp, the rookie camp at 260. So, and they said he's very strong. Brian Broaddus was giving very high marks about him. A lot of people are talking about him. You know what I mean? And then you come in, you got Cedric Wilson, who I thought we could have got the Thomas kid from Notre Dame. We were like, man, we could have got him. I think he went to Green Bay if he did. You know, not for sure.
You're talking about St. Brown.
Yeah, St. Brown. We got him. I would have been like, ooh, if we got Gallup and St. Brown, I would have been doing cartwheels. But Cedric Wilson, the tape on him is very good. He's not a small guy. He's like 6'3". They love the Boise State players, and he's probably got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove that he can play in this league. And then the pick that I really love, Scarborough. That's the guy.
Yes.
We needed a battering ram. We needed a guy who could just really set the tone as far as that physicality. I know he runs upright and things of that nature, but good value, 7th round. Are you serious?
He'll pretty much replace Alfred Morris, right?
Yeah, he's definitely replacing him. And people are worried about Rod Smith. Rod Smith is still going to be on the roster. You're going to have Scarborough, you're going to have Zeke, and you're going to have Rod Smith. And with that 3 combo, and you can still sprinkle in a Tavon Austin in that backfield. If you get creative, guys better watch out. Teams better watch out. We're going to be something to deal with. And if Dak Prescott can take the next level and do what he needs to do as far as a quarterback, we're going to be a lot of trouble for a lot of teams.
I think Scarborough might have been my favorite pick. If you're watching right now, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Who was your favorite draft pick? I know we did the draft grades, but now, which one of these players was your favorite? I personally do like the Scarborough pick. Coming in behind this offensive line, that's going to be huge for any running back.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy was a beast.
Right.
I mean, he's like a Brandon Jacobs. You remember him?
Yeah. I don't know if he's really
he's
Brandon
like a Derrick
Jacobs.
Henry.
He's like a poor man's Derrick Henry to me. But I think what I really like about him is that he's really loving to play under Zeke. He's really like, come on. He's like, come on, Zeke, I want to roll with you. And I feel like you got that combo right there and that big back right there, and then you can come back in with Zeke. What? And then let's say you go on a shotgun, you got Tavon Austin on one side, and then you got Zeke in the backfield on the other. What are you going to do? You throw in Beasley if you still have him in the slot, and then you got Gallup and those guys. Hearn. I think we're just, like I said, and the biggest thing to me is Dak Prescott doesn't have to worry about passing to one person. Now all his options are open, so I feel like he plays more free where he doesn't have to. I feel like he has to force the ball. We've seen it in the way he plays. When he doesn't have to force it, he can just be free and throw it to who he wants to. He plays very good.
We have seen that. A lot of people commenting about their favorite players in this draft. Before I get to theirs, who was your favorite player in this draft?
Wow, I'm sitting there thinking I'm going all the way through it. Let me think. Let me go all the way through it.
Well, while you're going through it, I'll tell you some people who commented. Craig English says LVE. Mr. Wright says Dorrance Armstrong. Over here on our Facebook.
I forgot about Mike White.
Mike White, the quarterback.
Yeah. That was a huge pick. I don't know how I forgot about him. 5th round. Better watch out, Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott falls off, he's 6'5", 230.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him. as we come along here. We'll talk about a lot of stuff here today. So right now we're just kind of hitting on the draft. Daniel Meza says, "What's up to you?"
What up, Daniel?
Jawan James said he thinks Armstrong could possibly play linebacker.
I think he can too. Stand-up hybrid.
Let's see. Jawan James' favorite pick was Bo Scarborough. Daniel Meza's was Connor Williams. Terry Turner, Connor Williams. Over here on Law Nation's YouTube channel, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you go subscribe to the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube channel as well. We're also streaming live there.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's where you'll find all of our original content as well. Dominique Austin says Bo and Gallup. Gerald Hunter says Gallup was his favorite pick. So a lot of people liking the receiver and the offensive lineman, and a lot of the running back too. So not too many LVEs.
I'm going to keep it real, and I know people are like, you're a hypocrite, Jay. I don't care. It's not that I'm in love with LVE at all, but because I'm a defensive guy, Gallup was cool. That was my favorite player I wanted us to get drafted. But on the defensive side of the ball, I feel like if Vander Esch can play like they're projecting him to play and the upside is, that is going to be my favorite pick because I wanted a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I wanted Edmonds. That's who I wanted. I wanted a linebacker. He has the size and the measurables. If he can play to what those measurables say and to what the arrow is pointing to, then I'm going to be happy with that pick because at the end of the day, we needed another linebacker. Sean Lee is not going to be playing forever. We need a guy who can come in, and he needs to come in and start and be like the man. If we get him, Jalen Smith, and Sean Lee, and they're looking, that sounds good if he really can traject what people are thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, my problem with him is kind of the same issue that I might have with Sean Lee. We were kind of talking about this
Injuries.
off air, would be the injury bug, because we've seen what happens when Sean Lee goes down and we rely on him too much, and then we lose games. Important games we lose just because of that one player. Couldn't you make that argument?
Yeah, I mean.
At times, like, you could say
we look
just
lost.
because he was out, we lost games.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So that's not what I want to run into again. We drafted an injury-prone player with Sean Lee, and now we're getting another injury-prone guy, maybe coming out. So who knows, man? I mean, when we got Jalen Smith, who's never know what could happen with him. So a lot of risky.
But he's playing without the brace now.
We're what we've tended to do over the years, and the middle linebackers say it all. We get those guys that should probably be top 10 picks in the draft, but they fall because of injuries, and that's what the Cowboys do. And that's just a little bit what I'll be worried about there, because maybe you could argue if that guy didn't have the neck injury, he could have been a higher up pick.
Probably so, because that was a concern with teams.
I like the big comparison that they're giving him to Brian Urlacher. That gets me excited, because if he's anything close to that, you're looking at first ballot Hall of Famer, like from Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's very high praise. Marinelli said it, so if they're saying in the building and Richard was backing them, they must see something.
We're going to be here with you until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're just tuning in, this is the Silver and Blue Nation live streaming podcast on EBSN Online, Facebook. We're on Silver and Blue Nation Facebook and several other Facebook platforms. So if you're watching there on any of those, make sure you jump to Silver and Blue Nation so we can take your comments and give you shout-outs.
Please do.
And then we're also over on Silver and Blue Nation YouTube as well as Law Nation YouTube. So we appreciate everybody who's tuned in so far. If you missed anything, you can rewatch it here, or you can download the podcast later on iTunes and Google Play by searching for EBSN Online. Follow that channel, and you will be notified when the Silver and Blue Nation podcasts are posted. So thanks to everybody
Derek?
Again. If you want to give some shout outs before we move on to the next topic.
Well, I just want to give a few shout outs to whoever just jumped in. I know you said Daniel Meza, Jawan James, Dino, of course. Katina has jumped in. Derek, our boy Derek from Dallas Prospect, said he can't stay long, but he wanted to jump in and say what's up. So what's up, big dog? DDP. Jessica jumped in here. We love you, Jessica, and congratulations on your graduation out there. So big shout outs to you.
We never
for doing
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh yes. What the hell were we thinking?
What's wrong with us?
We're all messed up.
We're just too focused on these Cowboys.
Our moms need to slap us right now.
We're too focused on the Cowboys.
Happy freaking Mother's Day to all those daggone mothers out there. Give them some shout outs. Big shout outs to all the moms out there doing it, because guess what? If we didn't have y'all, we wouldn't be here. I mean, that's real. Like, I'm saying a real statement. Like, if they weren't here, we wouldn't be here.
I mean, what a mom has to go through is crazy, but
yeah, super crazy.
That's why there's a day for them, and that's the day, and we appreciate everybody. If there's any moms tuning in,
we love y'all.
Hopefully you're having a great day, and
hope
everybody
lots of
love today.
Treating you good, feeding you good. I know I fed my lady good. She ate good. You know what I'm saying? I called my mommy. I call my mom mommy. I still call her mommy. I called my mommy today, showered her with love because I'm going to go see her in 2 weeks for her birthday in Virginia. And, you know, I showered my lady in that with some good breakfast, good eggs, good sausage, good-ass steak, and some good some bacon. Some good bacon.
Some good loving.
Oh, you know that good loving coming.
All right, well, Jason Witten retired, and we haven't really gotten to speak on that yet. My favorite Cowboy of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be missed on the field? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but you said you were happy he was gone. But if you want to dive into that a little bit more.
I mean, like I said, I love Jason Witten. You know, when I watched it, I can't even lie. When I watched the highlights of him on NFL, they gave it like a tribute to him. Like, I was getting chills. Like, I was feeling some kind of way. Like, damn, man. Like, Jason Witten was really gone. Like, I just remember Witten was always there for us. You depended on anybody. Witten was always going to be there, no matter what. And he was never like the most athletic guy. He wasn't the dude that was going to kill you. He wasn't a dude that you were like, Jason Witten's going to kill you. But at the end of the day, he killed you with big blocks, big catches. I mean, how many times did Romo find him on third downs? And I'm going to go back to, when he won that Detroit game, how many games he ended on game winners? And when we played in the playoffs on that fourth down where he always killed people on that middle play where he set you up, where he hit you with the left and then went to the right, that was his move. He set you up with that hard left and hit you with the right, and you knew it was coming. It was almost like a Jordan move, like you knew the move was coming.
He's
like
brilliant.
they were looking right at him, knowing they're trying, and he still got it off. That was respect.
He was brilliant at like manipulating you, turning his body one way, and when he's really going the other.
Exactly, so. But he had a thinking man game because he had to.
And you know he's got some iconic plays, the helmetless play where his helmet
nobody's
was ripped
ever gonna
off
forget that.
against the Eagles.
I was watching that game.
You talked about game winners. One I really remember was when against Detroit. I think it was back in 2007.
That was in Detroit.
It was that 13-3 year.
Mm-hmm.
He caught that pass right over the middle, last play of the game. And then just a couple years ago against the Giants,
Philly too.
Yep, the one
overtime.
in overtime.
Yeah, Philly overtime. So
and that's crazy. He's just done that consistently throughout his entire career. And the thing, my favorite thing though about him, my favorite quality with him was that he was never quarterback reliant. It didn't matter who was in there.
Right.
Whenever John Kitna got in, or Ryan Lee, or not Ryan Lee. Well, maybe then too. Yeah.
Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny Testaverde relied on him. Any quarterback that's the number
Quincy
one. No
Carter.
matter who came in there? Quincy Carter
was his first touchdown.
Like all the 15 quarterbacks over the last whatever. You know, Brandon Whedon, like they always Witten was the go-to guy.
He was their go-to guy, no matter who.
So,
like when they first came with the team, they looked to Witten. Mm-hmm. That was the guy they looked to get the ball to.
Security blanket.
He was their security blanket. Like if you can't get the ball to anybody, make sure you get the ball to Witten because he will get it done.
And I think that Detroit game as well, I think he also set the team record for catches. I think he had 18 catches in that game as well. So a lot of legendary stuff from Jason Witten. It's a shame that he was never able to get a ring.
Right.
But, you know, he was definitely Walter Payton Man of the Year. You know, one time he did a lot of good stuff off the field as well. Was just always the hardest worker. That's just my favorite Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he ain't my favorite Cowboy, but I love him.
You know, there's a lot of guys like you could argue like Antonio Brown, for example, who might not be good without Ben.
Right.
You know, like Witten, you can't say that about him.
Right.
No quarterback made him.
That is true.
So like, and
he said it. He said himself. He made him who he was. Like he said, he wasn't that guy.
He was good right away.
He wasn't. He even said, "I wasn't the guy that you could beat you here, beat you there, but guess what? I was gonna beat you."
I think he wore number 47 as a rookie.
Yes, that was weird.
I mean, I could go on and on about things about Jason Witten.
But you know what's so funny about Witten too, though? When he came out of Tennessee, I wanted him bad. He wasn't, and he played against Michigan that game, blew up in that game, destroyed that game, and it was just like, yo, this is a guy that I really wanted to see and watch and play, and I actually wanted him on the team more than anything else. And it wasn't like he had those great standout, like dominant traits that he's going to run a 4-5 or anything like that, but that was just a guy that was going to steadily be there, and that's what he was for 15 years. And shout outs and salutes to Jason Witten. I'm glad what he brought to the table, but I am also glad that it kind of happened this way. I didn't really want him to play this year, and it wasn't anything bad against him. It's just like I felt it was time, and it was like kind of like, you know, those players that they play 1 year too long. I felt like this was his kind of thing if he played 1 year too long, and this would have been the time. And I'm glad he just said, you know what, I'm good, I'm done. And now let these young guys do work. That's the main thing. Let these young guys do work. We got a young team. Our average age, I think, is 25.6 years of age across the board. Our only oldest player now is Sean Lee at 32 or 33. Everybody else is in their mid-20s or younger. So that doesn't excite you as a Cowboys fan. I don't know what does. Everybody loves having a young team because you can do so many things. And then we got all that hella money for next year that we got under the cap. We're finally out of cap hell. And so we really got to give Stephen Jones his props. As much as people dog him and get on him, he managed that cap the way it was supposed to, and now we're going to reap the benefits.
Everybody who's asking about Jalen Smith, we are going to get to that. We kind of been talking a lot on a couple topics
Jalen Smith, baby.
But we will try to.
Thank you, Tyson.
We'll try to speed things up here in a few minutes and try to go through this stuff a little bit quicker.
They're like, hurry the hell up, man. Talk about some Jalen Smith.
Well, real quick, to finish up on the Jason Witten, like, how are you feeling about the tight end position? Is it going to be Rico? Is it going to be Dalton Schultz? Who's going to start? You know, how do you think that's going to play out? I'm
looking at, as they're pushing the Blake Jarwin, they really like him. I think he brings a lot to the table. They're really on Blake Jarwin. Jeff Swain is still in the mix because he's a good blocker. I think they really love the Schultz kid. And honestly, Rico is the X factor still. They're still waiting on him to step his game up. I feel like they're worried about the commitment, and that's the problem. If he would really commit to the game and do it, he could be one of those type of guys where he's so damn dynamic and he could change the whole landscape of our team. If you can imagine Rico Gathers getting his mind right and taking over that position, 6'7", 6'8", 290 freaking pounds. Are you serious? Get your stuff together, Rico Gathers, because we need you.
Yeah, because he could be another one of them Jimmy Graham or Antonio
Oh,
Gates
my
stories.
God, man. I mean, like, in this, you can't go on Instagram saying, I barely play football. You know, you can't say that kind of stuff because we're waiting for you to take the next level. And if we're waiting for the commitment and the next level, and you're coming on Instagram saying, I don't even play football like that. I'm just a different type. That just frustrates people. It frustrated me because I had, like, yes, Rico Gathers, and I'm like, no, Rico Gathers.
All right, let's start moving through these a little bit. So rookie minicamp happened. What were your takeaways from that? Was there someone who impressed you? Or like, I know they didn't really do a lot of like football stuff. I mean, you know, it was more like drills and stuff. But
I mean, I read some stuff. I didn't get really to see a lot of things. Let me get to a question because Dino asked about the defensive tackle from Oklahoma State, which I just want to touch on that. He was in there. This is a kid who I can't remember his name, but we got the tape on him. This kid is a wreck shopper, G. This defensive tackle from Oklahoma State, he just had some issues of transferring to schools, and he was undrafted. Man, this dude could really be the man. You got to we'll find out his name on him. But as far as a whole, I think everybody was just kind of feeling their rookie minicamp is really nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't really do anything. It's just really drills and get familiarity with your coaches. But I think it was more hands-on with those coaches doing more than anything else. They said they saw a lot of good movement from Van Der Esch, and they saw a lot of good hands from Gallup. But a guy who really stood out in their eyes that I didn't really see, but Dorrance Armstrong from Kansas really kind of standing out. I keep hearing a lot of people talking about this Dorrance Armstrong kid from Kansas, and he really may step up. A lot of people were like, why do we draft him? Because we already got defense ends. He may push somebody off the roster surprisingly, because a lot of people are talking about him doing a lot of things. And plus, also, we got a lot of undrafted rookie free agents that safeties. The one kid, I got to get these names, and I apologize. A kid from Northwestern. We got a kid, Cameron Kelly from San Diego State, and another kid, Robinson from Oregon. These three guys are the guys that are looking that we could possibly make the team as a safety, G, and they're big. They're long, and that's what has been said by Brian Broaddus in the camp, that he saw a lot of our defenders, secondary, are long, and that's what Chris Richard wants. He wants tall, long guys, and that's what he seemed to draft. And even when you got him in the rookie free agent pool, they're all tall and long-armed players, and that's the type of people he wants. And you can see him bringing that theory and that mindset over from Seattle and implement it with us, because there was a lot of man-to-man press, two-hand man-to-man press. We didn't do a lot of that, and we've been screaming for that last year. He's implemented, and you're going to see a lot of change.
Yeah, it will be nice to see it change.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, because we didn't really touch on this much at all when we talked about Witten. Just real fast, Antonio Gates, is that an option?
No, leave him alone.
Why though, real quick?
I mean, he's old. I get it. He's played. I don't want no more old people. That's why. I don't want no more old people. We got the young people. We got the young team. Let's grow with them.
Fair enough. Okay, Randy Gregory was he applied. Did he already apply?
No, he hasn't applied.
He's
about to apply. Right.
So let's just assume that he applies and everything goes smooth because it sounds like it will. Will Randy Gregory have an impact this season?
I don't know if a major impact, but I believe he will have an impact on this season. Yes, he will. He needs to get his feet under him. I think he'll take maybe mid-season if he stays injury-free. I think maybe 5-6 games in, he'll start getting his feet underneath him because he has missed a game. So they'll probably bring him along slowly. Don't need to rush him in. We got other guys. But I feel like, yes, once he gets in there and starts really doing his thing, he's going to make a serious impact. That's the guy I've been waiting for since he's been drafted. I know he's had the issues, but, you know, me and you talked about it time and time, G. You said, I need to see more on the field because I haven't seen it. And I told you from the beginning, that is the dude. That's why they gave him 94. I know people are frustrated, and I was frustrated he had 94, but that's why they gave it to him, because they knew. He's that guy. He's just the guy. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I know at one point they were saying he might have been the best pass rusher in that draft, but because of his off-the-field stuff.
That's why he dropped. I mean, he was a first-round talent. That bend that he has, I mean, 6 foot. You don't find 6'6" guys with them long arms, that angular. Like Alden Smith was nasty until he was a head case. I mean, Alden Smith would have been a beast. Yeah. I remember when he had 19 sacks. It was like a second year because he had that bend. He was that different type of athlete, and that's what Randy Gregory is. And he really, you know, he's got people going to bat for him. A lot of people going to bat for him. Chris Carter spoke for him. It's a lot of people speaking for him, and he just really stays on course and really gets his life together. Number one, you're happy that he got his life together because he looked like a failed story, another failed guy that was just going to fall out the league and just be like, remember what he could have did? But the fact, we got to give him props. He stayed with it. He could have quit. He could have gave up. He could have just said, F it. But he didn't. He still stayed with it, and he's still fighting, and we got to give him props that he still did it. And if he can still play football at only 25 years old, that's a big hand clap for Randy Gregory for saving his life more than football.
There we go. That's if he can come back and do that too. But
he's gonna do it. I believe it. I believe if he came this far, I believe he's gonna.
So just imagine that potential for this Cowboys defensive line. It's scary good. That potential might be the best in the league.
David Irvin, DeMarcus Lawrence. Could you? I mean, think about it. If we go with that Deacon defense, right? And we go 3. You got DeMarcus Lawrence on one side, then you got David Irvin in the middle, and then you got Randy Gregory on that outside. Are you serious? And you can still bring guys.
You know who else we're forgetting about?
Taco Charlton, Charles Tapper,
free agent pickup.
Coney Ely. It's going to be fierce as far as that competition. I mean, Tyrone Crawford's still in the mix. I mean, you got Malik Collins, who he broke his foot, so we were looking at Terrell McClain, even though he spurned us. We're going to whip your ass, Terrell McClain, just to let you know, since you went to Atlanta, you bum. Just want to say that.
All right. So then we'll move on to another topic.
Right.
And keep up in the comments with us. We will get to those before we finish the show. We got like 25 minutes left here before we wrap it up. We might not be able to fit in a rapid fire today, but that's fine because we got rapid
Take care,
comments. Ron. So appreciate you, Ron. We'll see you next week. Who do you envision being the starting lineup for the Cowboys wide receivers as it is right now?
As it is right now, I'm going to say Allen Hurns.
Let's just go 1 through, let's say 6, because you know they ain't keeping more than 6. Like who from top to bottom, to who won't even make the team probably.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you my 6 will make it? Or
yeah,
my
basically,
guys will make
but
it?
in order as to who would start. Yeah.
Is Allen Hurns going to be the X? I'm going to have to say I don't know. He's never been good at the X, but let's say I'm going to have him as the X, and then Terrence Williams, because they just love him. I think he's still going to be on the team. If he's healthy, he's going to be the Y. Then you're going to have Beasley, and then you'll have Gallup coming in, and then Noah Brown, and who'd I say?
So are you not taking into account Tavon Austin at wide receiver?
They're listing him at running back.
Wow.
Well, they list him as running back.
He played a lot of receiver with the Rams, though.
Right, but they got him listed as running back. So you got Allen Hurns, Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, and then maybe Cedric Wilson. That I don't know if they're going to keep 6 receivers, but those would be the 6 I would see. I don't know if that other kid, the Deontay Thompson that we got.
Yeah, he's going to be in roster bubble.
He's a roster bubble guy.
He's going to fight for that
Lance
last spot.
Lenore, you still got the KD Drummond, but I think they got those 5 guys in the fold. Noah Brown's going. I think Noah Brown's is going to surprise some people too.
I would be happy with that, but I mean, it's going to be a whole new receiver core, and that's kind of the thing that we were. At least me, I know I was complaining about that the most last season when we were watching games. Is these guys just can't get separation, they can't get open, you know. So no more excuses, I guess. But the thing I'm worried about with Tavon Austin is, didn't Ryan Switzer make a statement that like the Cowboys didn't use him the right way?
Yeah, they said that he was miscast, like as a running back.
Well, I feel like that's what same thing Tavon Austin is. So,
well.
You know,
I think it is too, but I believe this my opinion on it. I just feel like Scott Linehan just wasn't feeling Ryan Switzer. I just don't feel like he was feeling him like that, and he'd rather go with a guy who's more proven and then wait on a rookie right now. And I just feel like he got Tavon Austin. He's got the speed. He is proven. He can do more things with him rather than going with a second-year guy who hasn't touched the ball. So that's why I feel like it was easier for him. And hell, we forgot about Jahad Ward that we got on the trade.
Wide receiver?
No, defensive lineman. That was the trade for Switzer.
Oh yeah.
So he's in the mix too, and he had to. You know, he was a second round pick out of Illinois. He was a good player at Illinois. He had 33 tackles his rookie year. He got hurt his last year, so it's not like he's an old player. This will be his 3rd year.
That's amazing.
And he's 6'5", 300 pounds.
This is the most depth on the team that I can remember since I've been watching Cowboys.
So we got some. That's why I said it's going to be a high battle, especially on that D line. Somebody's getting cut. I wrote that article on Tapper. He needs to step up. He needs to stay healthy because he could be cut. You know, we've been looking for him. He played the one game against the Giants, had a sack. He looks like he has the bend and the edge, but you haven't played on the field in 2 years. Now you got a Dorrance Armstrong who you drafted. Now you got to get on the field and stay on the field or you're going to get cut. You're a 4th-round draft pick. There's no love to that. There's no loyalty now.
Now you got Malik Collins with a broken foot and David Irving with the
That's dismissed.
Oh, has it been dismissed?
Yeah, that's been dismissed.
So he's good.
He's good. They just dismissed it. She should be in trouble.
Somebody was hacking
but that's
his
baby's mom.
Hacking the account and all that.
But you know what? I know it's his baby's mom. He's not going to do nothing to her. But some shit happened to her. You can't just say that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody were already thinking, oh, here we go again. I did. Because she said it, and then she comes back and recants the story. Oh, me and him was just fighting. I shouldn't have said it. Then shut up and don't put your name out there. Just be quiet.
You know what, though? Because of that, I believe her still, even though
I don't believe her. I don't believe her.
I do.
She came back and said it, dog.
I think they made up, and then now she's like, what did I just do? Let me just
she made up because he kicked her out.
I'm just saying, I tend to believe that when people say something when they're mad and then go back on it, I think that they were telling the truth when they were mad. That's just my opinion.
We'll see.
So the new All or Nothing series has come out, and I have not had a chance to really watch it or get any feedback from it. But so I was going to ask you things. I know you've been all over it. What's your takeaway from that? Like, is there anything you saw maybe about Dez that now makes things clearer? Or you were talking about Jason Garrett earlier.
Yeah. A few things that I think about the All or Nothing. One of the things I thought the All or Nothing tried to portray Jason Garrett as this tough guy. I think they wanted to get the shift off of him because a lot of people are bringing the heat on Jason Garrett. A lot of people are coming at him. Me, one of them, are coming at his neck on a daily basis. So then when you posted I posted that All or Nothing where he was cussing like a storm and everybody's like, hold up, Jason Garrett cusses? He just don't clap all the time? He does hold him accountable. So people were saying, we made the poll. Does this change your view about Jason Garrett? And I feel like that's what they want to get out there, that Jason Garrett's not a puppet. Jason Garrett is not a guy that does what everything Jerry Jones says. Jason Garrett, he got a heart. Jason Garrett, he tell you. But I'm gonna still tell you this about it. Yes, it made me be like, okay, that's cool, that's what's up. But at the end of the day, I don't think none of them players are scared of no damn Jason Garrett. And I don't care what anybody tells me. They ain't scared of him. And I don't feel like you have to be like, oh, I'm scared of the coach. But you have to have, some fear of the coach. You got to have some fear of him. And I don't feel like I think the players like him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like they fear him and they ain't really scared of him. So he can say all the F-bombs he want to. But at the end of the day, it's 8 years. Leaving that alone. Dez Bryant, you seen the blow up. So when you saw it behind the scenes, you're like, wow, dude, he was really, you see why they kind of did that.
So he was a big distraction.
He was a distraction. Like he was, I love Dez, but you could see he had an attitude issue. He had an attitude. For you to say he didn't, that's just a lie, and you're just lying to yourself. And I'm not saying he was a cancer. Not saying that. Saying he wasn't a cancer to the team. But I'm saying you could see where the attitude would wear thin on an organization where they're like, okay, well, if you're not meeting the production, we're going to get rid of you.
It's like they
have
had,
to deal with that
from the little clips that I did get to see, it looked like they had to give him all this individual attention, like in a selfish way on his part. Like they weren't having like individual meetings with other players or wide receivers. Like he would be in there complaining to coaches, about stuff, and like it seemed like he would be the only one doing that. So
I mean,
they call wide receivers divas for a reason.
That's the truth. And, everybody says the passion. Dez does have passion. No, you cannot doubt Dez's passion. But sometimes, you're 29 years old. I think that's the biggest thing with me. You're 29 years old now. You got to grow up. And that's the thing that just stands out to me with Dez Bryant. You can say what you want to. You can have your own opinion about Dez, and I love Dez, but he still needs to grow up. He needed to grow up earlier. He still needs to grow up, and I feel like that's why this is kind of happening. He didn't mature like he was supposed to as far as the game goes, and now he's kind of out of a job because, if he could do all those routes and do all those things, he'd probably have a job. But, and I feel like that video kind of hurt him too because it put him in the light of, you're a troublemaker. So I don't know if we want to get you on the team and we have to deal with that. You get what I'm saying? So people,
for other teams.
Yeah, you don't think other organizations didn't look at that all or nothing and say, yeah, we don't want to deal with this.
He must be pretty confident though to turn down a deal like when Baltimore offered him.
I mean, you can be either confident or you can have pride, and pride can hurt you sometimes. Get what I'm saying?
Yep, especially if you don't have self-awareness. I think that might be something that he lacked.
And I made a post about self-awareness about 3 days ago. I said I had it.
NFL Top 100 came out last week. We got a Cowboy
71,
well, it didn't
some
come
BS.
Out last week, but is that the first Cowboy to land?
First Cowboy,
Zach Martin at 71.
71.
We're not going to get too many in this top 100. I mean, I think Zeke will still be there even though he was suspended.
DeMarcus Lawrence will be in there. Travis Frederick will be in there. I don't know if Tyron Smith is going to make it, no, because he was hurt. He didn't have a great year. They might put him in just because he's Tyron Smith.
Yeah, I think they will.
They might just put him in because he's Tyron Smith. But those only ones are going to be in there. DeMarcus Lawrence, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. Nobody else.
I think
DeMarcus Lawrence will probably be in that top 20, maybe top 15.
Well, Zeke's going to be top 10.
Zeke ain't be no damn top 10.
Why not?
He didn't even crack 1,000 yards, did he?
So
he's not going to be a top 10, dog.
They don't do it based on last season,
right? But they do it if you miss games. They do base it off if you miss games. Yes, they do.
Well, we'll see. What do you think? Dak's going to make the list?
Hell no.
Well, he was like he was up on there.
I'm just
good.
keeping it real. He's not going to make the list.
After his rookie year, he was up.
Yeah, because he was the man. Now they're dogging him. Dak Prescott is not going to be in that top 100. They're already at 71. Where's he going to be, 50 or something? That's crazy. Nope.
What was he last time?
He was like
stupid high, right?
Stupid high, like 20 or 30. He's not going to be that. He was like in the top 20.
He was like 17.
Yeah, he's not doing that. He's not in top 100.
I think he is.
I think he's not. You want to put some money on that one?
Probably not now because
I'm ready for the bet.
Well, now they've gone like through 30 of them already, and he ain't in there yet.
Exactly.
So if he was going to be in there, I think it would be in the lower end of it.
Yeah, he'd been like 100.
But I could see Zeke being like Zeke's got to be at least top 20.
Nah,
no.
I think Zeke might just because he's missed games, not because of his talent, but they're going to look at the games he missed.
Even still missing games, he still finished like top 5 in rushing.
I'm just saying, I think he might be in the 20s.
So
20 to 30.
The Cowboys wine and dined Terrell McClain for two days, and former Cowboy, and he was very effective with us. Run stopper up the middle, always was in that backfield, and then he goes and signs with the Falcons. So why do you think he did that? You think it's something within the coaches, within the organization, like the players? Why do you think he did that? Did they offer him more money? I mean, what was that?
I don't know if they offered him more money or he got $4 million, I believe. I don't know. I think Dallas was like, you know what? We don't value crazy high. This is what we're going to give you. Take it or leave it.
But to take him out twice?
I think he probably tried to play. Maybe they like getting free meals. I mean, I would like to go out twice too. And if you're paying for my meals and I'm eating very good and drinking champagne and things, I'm going to wear that out too.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just keeping it real. These players are humans.
So you think it was just money?
I think it had to be money. I mean,
you don't think you don't like the coaching staff because he did already.
The staff is great.
He already traded on us anyway and went
right, but that was for more money.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
it's
he's
the
just
money.
A money guy.
Yeah, he's just the money. He wants money.
So I don't know.
So bye. Bump
I guess
you.
He just straight played us, huh?
Yeah, we got some people in here that got some questions though. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me see who we got.
We're gonna wrap it up here in about 15 minutes.
Juwan James, sorry if I'm looking at my phone like this for you. Juwan James says, well, they got some people that ask for the elephant in the room. Somebody said something about the elephant in the room. I got it.
What's he talking about?
Oh, Hercules Jones. Number one, I love the name. Hercules Jones. The white elephant in the room, nobody talking about what all the receivers saying about the coach. Speak on that. I believe the receivers are loving Sanjay Lau. He is teaching them a whole new type of things. I think he was doing a drill where he had Michael Gallup, like he was holding him in his shirt, and he had to lean, and then they threw the ball, and he had to kind of learn how to catch the ball and do some kind of weird thing. But when I see those type of guys bringing in those type of new drills and just new energy, I believe that a lot of the kids on the team are really digging the coaching staff. I really believe, and we'll go with that. Juwan James says, do y'all think that Dallas should go ahead and extend D-Law and Martin's contract? Cap looking good for 2019. I think we should. Well, definitely Zach Martin. We got to see what DeMarcus Lawrence does this year. I think it's a prime opportunity. You got a 1-year deal. We'll have hella cap space, so that'll be – if DeMarcus Lawrence is always doing the little money sacks and always talking about the cash and he trying to get paid, well, this is his time to really get paid because if he comes in and gets another year of 14 or 13 sacks, he's going to get money. So it's really on him of what he's going to do. I still don't think we're going to jump out there even with all that money and get all kind of spree agent splurs. I don't think Stephen Jones does that. He's going to save his own, buy his own, and maybe sprinkle in a few players here and there. But we ain't going to never be jumping out there getting those big guys like that no more. Stephen Jones don't operate that like that no more. For real.
Let me just give a shout out to everyone who's tuned in, and if we missed your comment, you can tune back in next week as well when we're live, and also Wednesday nights when we go live with Law Nation and the Dallas Prospect as well. So make sure you check us out there. We just got about 10 minutes left in the show. Keep the comments coming in. If you, we'll try to get to the ones that we can, but like I said, if we did miss yours throughout the show, we'll try to get back to them.
Apologize.
If you just tuned in, it's the Silver and Blue Nation live streaming podcast. From the EBSN online studios. We're on their Facebook page as well as Silver and Blue Nation Facebook.
And we missed y'all.
Law Nation, Phantom Sports, Dallas Prospect. So make sure you go and subscribe to all of them, like and share. Jump in the Silver and Blue Nation video, comment there.
Please do.
Go over to the YouTube channel as well and subscribe to those different platforms too.
And then go to iTunes if you ain't listening to us right
Play.
now. If you weren't able to catch us, you can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, and Soundcloud. So make sure you check out all those ventures as well. We got good voices. We do sound good. So if you can't see our pretty black and white faces, and I did say black and white because he's white and I'm man black, you can hear our great voices on the radio as well.
All right. We got a couple more topics to hit on real quick before we jump out of here.
Yes, sir.
We could probably get to some more comments, too, right when we end.
Rep where y'all from, too. Rep everybody who's in the boxes right now. Rep where y'all from.
Where you
watching the Cowboys. Where you watching us right now. Rep where you from. Give your name and where you repping from so we can make sure we see all that in here because, you know, we love seeing where everybody is repping from. I love seeing the different states and outlets that are tuning in to Silver and Blue Nation. We are worldwide, and I can honestly say we are worldwide. We ain't national. We ain't local. We ain't even national. We worldwide, dude.
We're global.
We global, dude, for real, like straight up. Don't let me put that earth in the background.
Does Dak Prescott deserve to get paid big? Because there's been some talk about him getting a new contract.
Right now, no. Because this is his proven year. If he comes in and does really good, yes, he deserves to get money, but I don't think he's got to really ball out to me to get that 22, 23 million a year. I mean, he's got to get like 30, 40 touchdowns to do something like that. I just don't think he's that type of guy. I think he should we don't need to break the bank with him. Let him just get like 15 million or something like that. It's okay. Why you got to get that top dollar, bro? Like, spread out the money. When those quarterbacks get all that big money, it messes up the team. Look what Joe Flacco did. He wins the Super Bowl. They paid him all that money. The team goes to hell because they spent making $30 million a freaking year. Like, come on, man. You don't need to do that. You don't need to spend that kind of crazy money. Kirk Cousins is getting that kind of money. Jimmy Garoppolo, Bro, you played like 7 games and you're getting major money. That's crazy. You don't need to get that kind of money.
I think Dak has a decent case to get that kind of money because if he were to lay out the numbers on the table right in front of him and like, look, I'm 22 and what is it? What did he go? 22 and 9 as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
I got 50, 60 touchdowns combined. Not that many turnovers. Good yards, one of the best completion percentages in the league, like over the course of the 2 years. Assuming he puts together another solid year, I think he has a good case that he could present to be like, look, my numbers compare with some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that he's going to get that big money.
I hope he does.
Maybe not. I don't want it this year. Like maybe after the next offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, though, like you said, is a prove it for him. So he comes out. If he does the same that he's done and he goes 9-7 or 13-3 or better, than those, or if he's at least 10-6 or so, getting to the playoffs every year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's worthy of a franchise quarterback money. I mean, that's in my mind. So
well, as long as he don't cripple the team, I don't care. I think we need to spread it out because we still need to pay Zeke. Zeke got to get his money.
I think
we need Zeke to get another contract because we need to keep Zeke at least one more contract.
Something else that I read was that the Cowboys are going to be in the best cap shape they've been in a very long time.
Yeah, like
year,
60-something million.
$70 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough to pay everybody.
Well, let's hope.
And all these years struggling with the cap, I think, is leading up to what's coming up in the next year or two.
All right, we got some questions before we sign off.
Yeah, I had 2 more topics. If you want to hit those first, or you want to dive into some questions first.
Jalen Smith.
You can hit that real quick.
That's cool. Let's jump on Jalen Smith because a lot of people have been clamoring about him. I'm wearing the jersey, so I got to talk about him right quick. They're still talking about does he want to stay in the middle or is he strong side? Because what we're going to do with Van Der Esch, that's the kind of the key. I don't know what they're going to do. I think he could play that strong side. Can he hold up at the point of attack? I do like to see him on blitzes. I think the biggest thing with Jalen Smith right now, he's not using the AFO brace that he was using last year. He's not using it at all. That's huge to me because that's telling me that foot is good. It's getting stronger every day, and I feel like he's going to break out this year. I mean, he had, 70-something tackles on a drop foot? 70 tackles on drop foot, and he played 16 games. How can the not ceiling be going higher for this kid? And people forget, he was a top 5 player. It wasn't like he was chump change when we got him. He was a top 5 player. So that's what we forget that because he's been out so long. You know what I mean? We forget that he was a top 5 guy. So now let's see that top 5 guy.
Yeah.
Well, he should have been. I mean, he was playing like that.
That's what I was saying earlier.
So,
the strategy the Cowboys have had.
I like what he's going to bring to the table. I think the arrow is definitely pointing up. Another year under Sean Lee. I believe he really soaked up what a lot of Sean Lee does, and he looks like, Sean Lee's a teacher. You saw what he did in All or Nothing, man. He's like a coach on the field. So I love what Jalen Smith is bringing to the table.
Look what he did with Anthony Hitchens, made him a pretty good linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Helping him out.
Mm-hmm.
I have some concern with Jalen Smith because of that knee. I'm worried that he potentially has already peaked. I know that's kind of crazy to say after 1 year, but I'm worried that maybe he's peaked right now.
No.
Because how is he going to be able to improve if he can't get past the mental hurdle?
How do you know he's not past it?
His knee was fine last year.
No, it wasn't fine. It was just determined where he could lift that foot all the way up. Yeah, he's cleared, but it wasn't in. He had to have that tape fully wrapped when he played in games because it would drop. Now he's not even using the brace.
I just worry about the mental part of it because I know injuries can really do that to a player for the rest of their career, and that's why a lot of guys are done after they get hurt with the knees and stuff. Because
I don't see this with him.
The mental thing, but we'll see. I mean, there was Okoye made a video where he was hesitating a ton, from that knee. So, and I think a lot of that would have been mental.
But he got better. But when they got less reps and he got better as the year went on. That's your opinion. I just feel like he's not peaked. He's still. The arrow's pointing way up. I'm not saying he's peaked.
I'm saying he could. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not saying that's what I think though.
Nah,
I'm saying hopefully not.
He's fine.
So is there anything else in those comments you were talking about? You said you had.
Oh yeah, Dustin asked me what was and Dustin, you crazy? He said talk about my rating, Big Game James. I gave you. Dustin, he's stupid. Dustin gave me a great rating.
Go give us a 5.
He gave me a 5, and he gave me it was so sweet, Dustin.
He wrote a nice message.
It was so nice, Dustin. Thank you so very much. I feel
a heart-filled message.
It's a heart-filled message. Thank you very much. But he asked, what is Jihad Ward's ceiling? I think his ceiling is huge. I think that was a great trade. When we heard about it, Ryan Switzer going, I was like, damn, for real, Switzer's going? I was just trying to get hyped up. I thought him and Prescott was going to do the thing.
Yeah, me too.
Then when I looked at I was like, Jahad Ward, who the hell is he? So I went back and looked at the tape. I'm like, dang, he was monstering at Illinois. Good size. I love 6'5", 300. Anytime I see that 6'5", 300, play DN or D tackle, aggressive, very aggressive. Went to the Raiders, and like I said, played good. I feel like his ceiling is really good, and I think he's going to slide in and make a difference with, Dayton Jones. I think he's another guy who we got from Green Bay who people are slipping on that's going to slide on people. Brian Price, another guy we got from Green Bay. Watch out for those guys that they're not dominant people, but they may be serviceable enough just to get what we need to get. I know we want that one tech. I know Hankins is out there. Everybody's been talking about Jonathan Hankins from the Giants, but the Cowboys said they ain't even fooling with him, so we just got to take what we got.
If they can just do their job like the Patriots model, like that's why they get all these guys that are just fringe players to come in and do your job, then they should be effective and have good depth on your team, and that should win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So obviously you're talking about Ryan Switzer being traded, so I guess the guy that the Cowboys went and traded for to be his replacement, Tavon Austin, because it's basically the same position. What type of impact you think he's going to have? Because like we were just talking about earlier, they did not use Ryan Switzer very effective, at least in year one.
They didn't lose Lance Dunbar either.
I think Tavon Austin is a lot more explosive and could be a lot more effective than what Ryan Switzer was. But is he going to be used the right way? Because I feel like at least his first couple of years with the Rams and Jeff Fisher, he wasn't being used the right way. It looked like last year they got it together a little bit more with the Rams. But
I'm going to be honest with you. We have to make it work because there's too much hype around it. They have to make it work. They have to get him plays. I think they will try to maybe force the ball to him. I just don't want them to make it obvious with the jet sweeps crap. Don't make it obvious with him. Kind of disguise it when you're going to use him in plays. Don't make it obvious. Oh, Tavon Austin is coming right in. We're going to give the ball right to him on this play. You know what I'm saying? That's what was bothering me with the creativity. That's what I was talking about. Bring a player in and don't necessarily go to a jet sweep with the whole, okay, Tavon Austin's in. It's just like when I used to coach. When we saw a certain kid come in the game, we knew what play they were running.
Like
and
we
knew exactly where they were going when they would come in the game. So we're going to shift our defense accordingly because we know he's getting the damn ball. I just want them to be creative. That's the biggest thing. If they can be creative and do that, Tavon Austin will have a very good year with us.
And just a final question here from me, and then if you want to turn it over to questions or whatever you want to do before we wrap it up, we can. But and this is also for you all watching as well. You can leave this in the comments. Is Allen Hurns, will he be over? I saw you share this. Will he be over under 10 touchdowns in 2018?
Under.
Under?
8.
Has anyone gotten more than 10 with Dak Prescott so far? Nope. So it would be a first for both for him to throw 10 to one guy.
I say 8. I say 8's a good number because I see our guys getting spread out. I see a lot of the balls going spread out to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I don't see a guy getting like 80 balls. It's going to be on those everybody in those 40, 50 ranges.
I think it depends on who steps up because we got all these guys. Now one or two of them is going to emerge. You know what I mean? Like somebody's going to step up and just have that instant chemistry and connection with Dak.
Right.
It's going to happen with one of these guys. Like all of a sudden, somebody's going to come out of nowhere and like that's just Dak's guy now.
I still don't think they're going to be blowing up like.
So I'm not really going to say – I'm going to say under as well, but that's just because I do think a receiver on the team, though, could be over 10, but not him.
Yeah, I don't know who else would be then.
I mean, maybe Gallup.
It could. That would be the only one I would see because it damn sure ain't going to be Terrence Williams, and it's not going to be Beasley, I don't think either.
No, but maybe Schultz comes in as a beastie red zone threat. Who knows? But
not 10. Somebody
I think is capable of getting 10, and someone's just going to have to get that. It's going to be in one of the new guys that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
It could be Hurns, but I'm just saying I think it will be one of them.
Right.
So anything else you want to get to before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, Arturo Lugo asks, who do I think gets cut next? Who do I think gets cut next? I think Charles Tapper might get cut. That's who I think he might get cut. I don't want him to, but I think he might. I think we got another question from Daniel and Janet.
Yeah, I just thought of one more too for you.
Whenever Noah Brown at tight end. That's been the topic of the last week or two. Once again, we will claim this. Me and JK will claim this. Is that not producer G? As soon as he was drafted, we said he looks like he could play tight end.
Yes, but I don't like the move.
I don't want him to play tight end.
He's too small
because he's kind of he's like 228.
Yeah, and he's like 6'2" or something.
Yeah, but
that's just small to me for tight end.
He could be that hybrid tight end though. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to move him there.
I use him in Madden and tight end as a tight end. He's pretty good there.
Okay, well there it is.
Let's see here. Oh, one last thing I had for you because we forgot to mention this. You kind of brought it up a little bit ago, but Mike White versus Cooper Rush, backup quarterback, or you're talking about he might even threaten the starter.
Yes.
He's that good.
I think so.
He can play better than what Cooper Rush did last year, which was flawless in the preseason.
I just believe that he can take Cooper Rush's spot. He has a bigger arm. He's quarterback ready. I feel like he's NFL ready. He's not like ready to start, but I feel like he's seasoned. And when I watched his tape, he's a good player. And then when I watched him in that Senior Bowl, I think that's what really stood out to me was that Senior Bowl. He played in the top competition, and he played good. He played big. He played strong. He was hitting laser throws. And you're like, man, I liked him at the Senior Bowl. I didn't think they were going to pick him, and when they did, I was like, yeah, he can compete for the second, and possibly if Dak falters, he can compete for the number 1 QB in 2 years.
You can't rule it out. Look at Dak himself, a late round, 4th round pick Jim. So and they come out of nowhere, and Cooper Rush undrafted had a flawless preseason. But I have a feeling Cooper Rush is going to come out here and just keep doing what he was doing. I mean, he looked like he had limitations, but for what was given to him, he just aced everything. So
yes,
he keep doing that. I think Cooper Rush has a really good chance. But I'm excited to see the Mike White guy as well, though. You want to talk about your articles? I know you wrote a few articles lately.
Yeah, I wrote a few articles.
Somebody wants to go check those out.
Make sure check out the last few articles I wrote. I just wrote a recent article on Kayvon Frazier. I think it's a really good article. Check it out. You'll be surprised because if you see
where are they going to find that at?
That's going to find that on the Big Game James page. You can also check that out on Silver and Blue Nation. You can go. You can also check it out on Dallas Prospects.
DallasProspect.com.
DallasProspect.com. That's where you'll mainly find it because you'll find all kind of great things on Dallas Prospect. It's not just sports. It's entertainment. It's movies. It's everything. So if you're looking for just, not something that's sports oriented and you want to see live bands, everything like that, you need to go on that DallasProspect.com. Great writers on there across the board. Great writers. Law Nation's on there. Okoye with his videos. I mean, just good production. Excuse me. We do our show every Wednesday as well. So it's a beautiful thing. But make sure you check out my Kayvon Frazier article. I did the one on Taco Charlton as well. Charles Tapper, you'll be able to read all of them. Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods. You really should check out that Xavier Woods article on that Dallas Prospect because I said, hey, why can't Xavier Woods be our Earl Thomas? They really have a lot of confidence in him. And guess what? Xavier Woods and Kayvon Frazier can really maybe prove a lot of things. Because you know what, G? Did you know Kayvon Frazier's pro day numbers?
No.
His pro day numbers, he ran a 4.48. He had a 40-inch vertical leap, and he did a 10.8 broad jump.
Nice.
You feel me? And he's 6 foot, 225 pounds.
Yep.
So people are not giving him a chance. And what happens is we haven't seen a lot of tape of him, so you naturally say, oh, he's just a box safety. He can't cover. Because you just label him because that's what you just automatically assume because he's a big dude. But the dude has coverage skills. Well, even when Tyson was on the show, he said he's out to prove that I can cover. He had a game where he played 21 snaps against the Redskins and had 6 major stops. So you can see what he can do. And if you look at what Xavier Woods has done in spot duty, he played nickel, he played safety, free, he played in the slot. That's versatility. And he was a playmaker in college. So the arrow is looking up. Even though we don't have the Earl Thomas or maybe the Derwin James, we still don't have chopped liver back there.
Well, if we get burnt on the back end,
you'll yell at me.
And we're just getting thrown deep all over us.
Say, Big Game James, you're stupid.
I'm just going to be like, damn, why didn't we get a safety? Like, we could have had a chance for these guys. But I think that's going to wrap up today's show. So if you missed it, make sure you go back and check it out. You can listen to the audio portion on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play, or you can rewatch right here where you're watching now. You can always go back when we're done if you want to restart and watch from the beginning. So.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Happy Mother's Day once again to all the lovely ladies out there, the mothers, beautiful mothers out there. We love you. We appreciate you, everything you've done for all of us.
And make sure you're tuning back in with us every Sunday. We're here around 3:30 to 4, sometime in that area, Eastern time, every Sunday. And we'll be here all the time, and including right up to the season and during the season as well. We'll be going to a lot of games.
We will be at games.
Look forward to maybe seeing a lot of you guys there that watch regularly. We appreciate that. So
we definitely. Well, I'm getting G to go, but we definitely gonna be at that Carolina week 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna come.
You feel me? So you already know, Silver and Blue Nation, week 1, we're going to be at Carolina going ham, going nuts, and letting you know we about to come in Cam Newton's building and just smack them fools, right? Right, G?
That's right.
We're going to smack them fools.
I'm excited for that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Big Game James.
And that's Producer G.
And the show's over.
We out.